Welcome to Radicards TV. I'm your host, Patrick. This is my guest, Dan Grinell, Sports Securities.
How's it going?
So today we're going to be talking about two things, okay? Tops Now
Right?
and Tops Bunt.
Correct.
So tell us, Dan, your experience with Tops Now. Tell us what you know about it and, pros and cons. Yeah. Just talk about it a little bit here.
So I posted something on my website about this, and I kind of took the approach that when it first came out, I was really excited. Like the cards printed on demand, basically, kind of really intrigued me.
Sure.
And one of the advantages was that not everything is going to be high numbered. You're going to see cards that are going to inherently be short prints because not everyone is going to want them. They're going to be lesser players, and that always creates demand. People want to put sets together. There
Sure.
are those player
Short
collectors.
prints, yeah.
They want to find them, and so it would create short prints. And I always think short prints are a fantastic addition to any set. I really think that it's cool that they short print certain cards. It limits how many sets can be made, and I think that's a really cool idea. Furthermore, I thought it was like an excellent idea that they were going to be using events that happened in the 2016 season that were notable, that were card worthy, and I thought it would be a really cool concept. But I'm always hesitant though when it comes to online stuff. It's hard. You want to see the product first. You want to be able to go to Target and pick up a pack and look at it, or you want to read reviews, or kind of hold it in your hand once and see what it's like before you commit. And Tops Now doesn't necessarily give you that, but it seemed like a pretty cool idea.
You actually acquired a physical example of a Tops Now card.
I did. So let me just say, at first I really liked the idea, and then I absolutely hated the idea. And you and I had discussed this on another occasion. I felt like it was such a fantastic idea, but it turned into like a money machine or a cash cow, and it seemed like every event was a notable event. I mean, every day I was getting emails about the night's huge events that happened, and one of the things you and I discussed was, there were cards made that were almost no-hitters. An almost no-hitter is a great thing, but, I don't necessarily know if a title of a card should be almost a no-hitter, and note that as something, grand in the scheme of the season.
Almost a home run.
Almost a home run, or almost a throwout at first. It just kind of went to a level that I thought was really just watered down, and it really was just for the purpose of creating new cards.
So then the question becomes, to bounce off of that, did they have a number of cards in mind? And so, for example, 1,000 cards, and they had to fill up 1,000 units of information, and so they were filling in spaces with things like almost a no-hitter,
or walk-off singles, just stuff like that.
Right. So, or is it the case that they just had fun with it and decided to do things that were kind of highlights, sort of highlightable?
I mean, in my perception, and this is one of the points I make in my post, is that it was almost like they went with game-winning events, which I think is a fantastic idea when they are notable.
Right.
But my argument is that every play that contributes to that win could be considered a game-winning event.
Sure.
Not just the last play. We're looking at strikeouts. We're looking at pop flies. I mean, just everything.
Eating nachos in the dugout.
Nachos. Huge crowd attendance, right? The streaker on the field.
Record hot dog sales.
It just seemed like they were really stretching on it, and I'm with you on that. It almost feels as if they said, we're going to put 1,000 cards in this set this season, and we need to fill that.
Go ahead and fill it up.
Yeah, and so if you were a set collector, you're like banging your head up against the wall. You're
yes,
like
2008 moments and milestones.
All of a sudden, we went from like 4 or 5 every couple of days to like 30 in a week, or 50 in a week.
So what this does is tell you that that it indicates specifically that having a focus is highly desirable in this capacity.
Right.
So what you've done is acquired that card that features your player,
right.
Mr. Mark McGwire.
So I kind of vowed not to buy any of them. and I kind of had to bite the bullet and buy one.
Right.
And it was because, one of the events was Albert Pujols passes Mark McGwire on the all-time home runs list. And so since I'm a McGwire collector, I might as well have the card that features Albert Pujols and Mark McGwire in the set. And so I did purchase multiple copies. And part of why I purchased multiple copies is if you buy them individually, this card is a $10 purchase from Topps. Now they'll send it to you for free, but it's $10. It's $9.99, right? And
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. So if you buy multiple copies, the price comes down. So I think the first price increment was if you buy 5, they drop to like $6.99.
That's also how they get you.
Something, yeah. And then you can buy up to 100 if you want. It's crazy how much the price drops, but then you're spending a lot more money.
So if you buy all of them in print, will they just send them to you for free?
I think they print on demand, yeah. So if you wanted to buy 1,000 of them, they would accommodate you. Now that would kill any short print potential, but you'd have the majority of the market.
So this particular milestone is Albert Pujols surpassing McGwire's home run career number of 584 home runs. That would be the surpassable number.
Correct.
God, it's really amazing. Albert Pujols has had such an incredible career, but he's so far under the radar that people just aren't paying attention to the guy.
No, well, he kind of had that slump there for a few years.
Yeah.
He really wasn't,
transitioning
notable.
to the Angels. Yeah.
But he's had a good year. So I bit the bullet. Now, interestingly enough, I thought that maybe the card stock would be something a little bit better, and it's pretty flimsy.
It's 2010 Topps base.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. But they sent it to me for free.
All right.
So I guess that
after you paid for it.
After I paid for it,
which you actually paid for shipping, and then they made a little bit on the top of it.
I was really hoping for a thicker card stock. The photo on them is not bad. The design it lacks a little bit, but it's not horrible. But it is, a low-end product with a high price.
So I look at this and I'm like, that's kind of lackadaisical. That's sort of something that represents like a highlight set from Topps. The Topps update that comes out a little bit later in the year. It's typical 20-point thickness, standard glossy finish, very almost generic in a way. But I mean, whatever. If it's got your player on it, you got to grab one for the archive. I mean, who knows how long it's going to be available online.
Right.
Probably they printed enough of them to go around, so if they're not available from Topps Direct, then you might eventually surface on eBay, and you'll be able to acquire this at some point.
So I honestly, I looked up the print number when I first got it, and it wasn't anything amazing, and so I just kind of forgot it, but I want to say that it's in the 600s.
Okay.
It's about 600 copies
That's
of
fair.
exist. I own 5.
Well, then that means there are only 595 copies left.
But on some of the short prints, I've looked at some of the eBay sales, and they do pretty good. I mean, they definitely sell for more than what the person paid for. And some of the early cards, when people were really just not sure what was going on, they sell for some significant coin.
What would have been gnarly with this if they did this and were like, okay, you pay a little bit more and you get a chrome version that has a print run or a third print run, and it's not serial numbered.
Yeah.
Or it's even rarer than that. But they don't do anything more than like a base and a chrome.
I had read online that a few here and there, if you bought like, kind of like they would insert in a pack. They sent out, I guess you would call them parallels, but they were autographed, right?
Oh, okay.
And so there are a couple out there that people purchased, and as a reward for purchasing, like every 10 or 20 cards that they sold, they sent that person, an autograph version.
Yeah.
But that's far and few between. I mean, this is card number 390. I think they maybe did that twice, maybe even only once.
So all in all, do you like the Topps Now product?
I really don't.
You don't like it?
No, I mean, like I said earlier, I really like the idea, but I think it's just kind of lazy.
So
I think they could have done better.
You like it had potential.
Yes.
But it was poorly implemented, is what you're saying.
Correct.
So Sounds like the movie Doom
Yeah.
with The Rock. It had so much potential to be an amazing movie.
Yeah.
And I actually liked it because I grew up playing the video game, but the movie wasn't that very good.
Yeah,
It wasn't very good.
didn't watch the movie or the video game.
But this, I think that with Topps now, I think you're right on the money where it's one of those things that could have been a lot better than what it is.
Yeah, and you know, it's still infantile in its development. They might learn this year and next year, you know, do less cards, put more quality into it, and make a fantastic set. Who knows? You know, it seems to be popular. I mean, I look at the emails as they come in, and I periodically check the Topps website to see. You know, they're always a sellout. I mean, that's kind of like season tickets at the football game. But you know, it doesn't matter because it's a sellout every single time because it's print on demand, right?
Now this is only per year though, right? Like this is just highlights from
as
this
far
year.
as I know, yeah. As far as I'm understanding.
So 2017, the Topps now will just be for 2017.
Correct. I have seen that they do memorabilia cards as well, but they're special, and the price on them is ridiculous. Like a memorabilia base card numbered, you know, with a piece of base relic numbered to 99 is going to be, you know, a $50 purchase, and I've seen autographs as well. I've seen Albert Pujols. I'm sorry, not Albert Pujols. David Ortiz had one recently that I had contemplated, and I feel like there's a cop out there is, you know, they have the base Ortiz numbered to 99, and then they have the same card numbered to 49. And the same card numbered to 25, and the same card numbered to 10, and the same card numbered to 5, and then 1 of 1.
I'm gonna go take a nap.
Yeah, and really the only thing that makes them different
exhausting.
is the price point and the numbering, right? Because the card looks identical.
Really?
Yeah, it looks identical.
That's really
It's just
bad.
got a different numbering on it.
Back in the early mid 2000s, 2002 to probably 2004 or 5, companies would do that. They would produce the same exact card, throw a serial number on it. No difference.
Yeah.
Fleer did this a few times. Playoff did this a couple of times. Leather and Lumber, I think a few of those came out like that. And you start to look at it and think, well, just because 25 of the thousands that were printed were actually serial numbered, does that make it any more desirable?
Well, I felt like sometimes, though, they would at least change the color.
Anything.
You know?
Literally anything to differentiate.
But I don't think that these are any different other than the serial number. I could be misrepresenting them because I personally have not cared enough to research it further. But based on the pictures that Topps sends out, it looks like the only difference is the price point and the serial number. And that's it.
So you have it, folks. Topps now had tons of potential, poorly implemented, interesting idea.
Yeah.
But kind of haphazard.
Right.
Not very flashy in any capacity, very base and dull looking, and looks like more like something you get out of a base pack of Topps.
Right.
Really. So that would be, I guess, our take on Topps now.
Now, as a transition, I would take this 100 times over before I was to purchase a Topps Bunt.
Oh yes. Let me crack open this Dasani sparkling water while we prepare to talk about Topps Bunt.
I'll have a swig of my beer.
No, we're not promoting Dasani sparkling water, by the way.
Or beer.
Okay, so let's talk about this Topps Bunt. Here we have Topps creating, Topps' attempt at digital collecting. Now, okay, let me just preface this by saying one of the things I love about baseball cards is the tangibility factor. Having it in my hands, looking at it, investigating it, having a real close look at the edges, the corners, the centering, investigating the surface, having a look at like the actual design of the card itself. Does it pop out at me? Does it have concave like you would see on, 24 karat gold, 1999 Fleer Tradition, or 2010 Bowman Chrome Prospects? These kinds of things. Or is it flat? How thick is it? The texture. Yeah. I like to look at it. Does it have serial numbering? Doesn't it? What year was it produced?
I even know people who like to smell them.
Whatever the case, so, it's sensible.
Right.
Like it's something that allows me to accommodate my senses in some way. I can touch it. I can smell it. I can see it. I can even hear it if I wanted to. Granted, I typically don't buy cards so I can hear them. But what I'm saying is that I can physically see these and shuffle through them.
Correct.
and actually see the progress
Correct.
in my collecting patterns. So that's one of the things I love about collecting is needle and haystack kind of thing.
And it is a form of art.
In a way, it is.
No, it really is.
Truly.
I mean, I shared this with you earlier. You know, I went to see the Ken Kendrick's Diamondback collection in Phoenix, Arizona. 40 of the rarest baseball cards assembled at the Phoenix Art Museum. And the displays alongside of it, after I saw the greatest collection, I think, in person, was Michelangelo sketches. So they were displayed in the same place. It is a form of art because it applies or appeals to more than one sense.
It does. Truly. I like, too, that I can
Yeah.
flip the card over and read about the player, look at the font styles and the sizing, if there's like a portrait of the player, and really just have it in my hands. It's one of the things I love about collecting. Okay, Topps Bunt took that entire romance
And packaged it into one dimension.
and then they rolled it up, and then they like dragged it through the mud, and then like created this croissant, and then threw it on the grill.
Yeah.
And so like now it's like we have this thing that unfortunately doesn't allow for any accommodation of senses outside of visual. And so what I have too is a digital picture, right? That I end up buying, which is strange too, because Dan, you had mentioned a really good point. What's to stop me from taking a screenshot on my phone and just archiving the screenshot of an image on eBay
Correct.
without me even buying the thing?
Correct. I guess you lose the transferability of it, but who
Just
cares?
text it to somebody.
Yeah, just text it to someone. I mean, just send it. Yeah, I got the screenshot.
I don't quite understand the benefit of having digital cards. I can understand having a digital archive of your collection, but knowing that you have the physical copies elsewhere, but you can enjoy your collection online anywhere. I get that because I'm an owner of a project as such. But buying something digital like a baseball card, to me, there's nothing there. I don't get it, and I don't understand. I don't think I ever will. There's never going to be any desire for me to own a digital copy of a baseball card. Like I will never buy a scan of something.
Right.
But I'm not saying I won't buy a scan of something else that's already digital, like a really nice photo that I want to put in a backdrop of a digital art piece. Fine. And maybe I would do that with, maybe that's what Topps Bunt would end up being, is a form of a backdrop for a piece of art online somehow. But I can't see myself going out of my way to spend lots of money on quote unquote numbered digital cards.
Right.
And so
with facsimile autographs on them.
I mean, I struggle with where this is going to end up going. I don't know who's buying these. I don't know anybody that buys these actually, and I know many collectors out there that are very well known in their category, and they're very respectable people. And I don't know anybody who's brought up Topps Bunt ever in any conversation. And so they've been doing this for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah, I honestly don't know because I don't follow it at all.
Right.
You know, I mean, I come across it occasionally doing searches on eBay.
Sure.
But other than that, I've put very little effort into educating myself on it because, like you, I just think it's absolutely a waste, of resources. You know, I can see why Topps is doing it from a financial perspective because other than the MLB license, there's and the designers they're paying to come up with this, there's no cost. I mean, there's almost no overhead on it.
Well, that overhead with the designers might be high.
It might be high, but it's not any higher than they're doing for something like this.
But because this is a tangible.
Right.
But
But you got material costs here where you wouldn't have the Topps Digital. So it makes sense why they're doing it, but who's fueling the continued purchase? I don't know anyone either.
Okay, so pros. The pros to Topps Bunt are that you don't need to buy physical items.
You don't have to store them.
You don't have to store them anywhere.
Other than your data.
Your data on your phone. Those are the only pros I can think of. Cons. High resource requirement, like money.
Right.
Limited enjoyment, perhaps.
Yeah.
And how much time do we already spend on our phones? A lot.
Right.
How much more time do we want to spend on our phones looking at stuff we bought that are just scans of something, like pictures? downloadable to your phone. So that's a con to me. I don't get to physically
Yeah.
look at it, and it doesn't accommodate the senses outside of my visual sense,
Right.
which is kind of upsetting. I can't smell an iPhone digital image or a text
No.
message. I can hear a text message.
No, you can't get them graded, which is a
Can't
big
get them
part,
graded.
you know.
That's a big deal if you're
Yeah,
a graded
I mean,
guy.
everything is perfect because it's going to be centered. I mean, it just takes so much away from the hobby.
It truly does. And so the other con is might be on the point of Topps. I don't know what their balance sheets look like for their profits for the Topps Bunt. I don't know what that looks like. It might be high because Topps has a huge, it has a lot of brand equity. But I will say that if I'm in a lot of circles of card collectors, and I've never had conversations or even seen conversations around Topps Bunt, it kind of makes me wonder who's buying, how much is being sold, and how long is it going to be around?
Right.
Is this just like a hiccup thing? I don't quite know, but Topps Bunt is a peculiar product. I will say this though, this year I've noticed that they have physical tangible cards this year. You can get. I don't know if they're released at Target or what the deal is.
I've seen them at Target. I've seen them at Target. I'm pretty sure that's where I've seen.
So
them.
the question then becomes: is are they phasing out the entire digital thing to realize that their tangible market is actually more desirable? Or is it the case that what we're seeing now is the phase out of Topps Bunt entirely digitally to where we're going to see eventually just Topps Bunt as another pack-pulled product?
A low end.
A low end, which is good because, Topps had opening day and it's affordable for the kids. I think it's great.
Yeah.
If Topps Bunt is another low-end product for kids, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
If Topps Bunt ends up just being another low-end product, I think that'd be great. And I think it's great that I saw press plates online for Topps Bunt. So that would be a pro. The pro is going back to the tangibility,
Right.
Moving away from digital cards and moving into tangibility.
Well, what I think is they might be moving towards what Upper Deck has done with the digital card, which I really thought was a genius idea.
What's that?
They had the e-packs this year where you could open the pack and then you would have the digital cards. And at any point, if you wanted a physical copy of that card, then you would just submit it to Upper Deck, and they would send you a physical copy.
Is that what Topps is doing now?
So I don't know if, like I said, I have not paid enough attention to Topps and Topps Bunt to where I can speak as an expert, But I think what Upper Deck did was great because if you don't want the piles of commons,
right.
But you want the inserts, or you want the Young Guns rookie, or
then they print and then
they'll print it and ship it to you.
If Topps Bunt does that, or if they're doing that now, and I apologize for being ignorant if they're already doing that, that's actually a good thing.
It's a good thing.
That's a good thing. But if they're not doing it, they should be doing it because I think that would make Topps Bunt a more relevant product,
right?
To collecting behavior,
right?
So in that capacity, if that is indeed how it goes down. I would have to rebuttal some of this.
I don't think that's how it originated. I think the origination of the product was strictly digital.
Sure.
And they were doing it for non-sport as well.
Yeah.
I've seen people tweeting, what they have gotten for, Star Wars cards, and this is a super rare number to 25, but it's a digital card, and I just got a picture of it. I just saw what it looks like, and it's not any different than what they have.
Right.
Other than it stores in their account. But what the heck does that mean? I don't even really know.
So there's information we don't have here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to admit that. So if I've spoken out of line in terms of maybe they do have that print on demand piece,
right.
I think that would be a huge benefit to Topps Bunt.
But I don't think they do.
Well, if they don't, they should have that because that would make it more desirable to guys like you and I. Like, oh, that's a cool Frank Thomas card. Great, I'll get it and then have them ship it to me as a print on demand piece. If they do that, I just said did you get that?
Yeah.
So if they do that, I always like the concept of print on demand because it lowers what I call ICC inventory carrying cost. They don't have to store anything; they just print it as they go. Prints might be higher because they're not printing in quantity.
Right.
There's not an economic order quantity for that. They just print as they go, which means print costs might be a little bit higher, which means the cards themselves might hold a higher premium just by design.
Right.
So that concept desirable to the company and to the consumer as well as collectors. And it would be cool to see something that is not found anywhere else, only in Topps Bunt, that's print on demand, that's
Right.
affordable. And it's not another game used, it's not another autograph, it's just a cool design with a good look to it.
Right.
And it's not printed in thousands. And it's also not serial numbered.
Right.
It's just a short print card.
Which takes us back to
Which takes us back to
Topps
this
Now.
Topps Now product.
Yeah.
So that's our
rant.
digest on Topps Now and Topps Bunt. If you have any comments, please leave them below. We'd love to hear what you think. If you know more, you want to share, you want to disagree with us, please do it.
Yeah.
We love the dialogue, and constructive criticism is always beneficial.
Sounds
if
good.
you want to say, hey Patrick, I don't like your hair and your comments are crap. Or hey Dan, why don't you cut your mustache? You're starting to look like a lumberjack.
Yeah.
Or if you want to leave something like relevant, even like, oh hey, Topps Bunt actually does do the print on demand thing. Whatever the case, tell us what you think and leave your comments below, and let's have a conversation.
Awesome.
Thank you for watching another episode of Radicards TV on radicards.com. And until next time, enjoy collecting.
Take care.